Hello everybody and welcome to the TSRC Tin Top Series, ready for round two here at the Red Bull Ring. It's the series that takes on the Porsche Cup cars and the touring cars as well, takes them around various circuits across the world and was racing for 40 minutes on each night, at least on 5 of the nights. Anyway, it is time for round two after an exciting opening round of the season at Silverstone. We've come to another pretty similar Grand Prix circuit, the Red Bull Ring here in Austria. It's myself, Lear, and James Parfitt will be with me for this second round as well. Yeah, looking forward to this. I thoroughly enjoyed the first round actually at Silverstone. And I think this format works quite well, and it should do round here as well. As I say, pretty similar circuit, same format. Hopefully a similar race to what we had last Friday.
Yeah, I think we were worried about the mix of the cars, but that actually worked really well at Silverstone. Red Bull's a little bit of a different thing. Yes, it's a Grand Prix circuit, but it is a smaller Grand Prix circuit. Not as long lap times, of course, not at certain points, not as wide to overtake either. So it's going to be how these guys get on here tonight. I think this could be a good one, and I would probably say sit back, buckle in and get ready, because I think we could be in for a, well, hopefully, not drama, but a good evening of racing.
Yep, let's hope so. So that's what we're always aiming for. In the opening round of the season, it was in TCR, Tom Davidson who took the first race win, and as a result, he's on top of the championship with Kieran Sharp just 5 points behind. Nick Clibbins finished on the podium, so he'll be third ahead of Josh Millington, Bobby Ross, who rounded out the top 5. Mav Gardner was sixth ahead of the first non-UK and Ireland driver, which is Bart Raven, in 7th. Then it was Andrew Pike with Lewis Mason and Stefan Hutter rounding out the top 10. Johnny Wu rounded out 11th place with Matt Smith 12th. Gareth Ronda was next ahead of James Smagersgale. And then the rest who did not race this time around at the bottom. We'll see if some of those do get into the race this time around. In the Porsche Cup class, it was Hayden Miller who took the race victory with Louis Hesketh just in behind. Brian Walker finished on the podium, third place ahead of Jake Pitt with Matt Cheverton in 5th. Matt Acton just outside of that top 5, again the first of the non-UK and Ireland drivers, 7th in the Porsche Cup class as well with Gergely Consabo, followed by Clement Biblock. Then it was Rafael Durica and William Chandler rounding out the top 10. Samuel Kremers was 11th. Then the rest of them continue on down at the back. Yeah, that's pretty much everyone who even finished the opening race of the day, or the season, I should say. So there's your championship standings, and while we've been going through that, we've just gone into qualifying. 10 minutes solo qualifying as well, and it was a very close session 7 days ago. So again, I'd imagine it would be similar here too. There's even less corners as well. Yeah,
you've literally got 10. You can say 10, but it's probably more like 9. But yeah, not a lot for these guys to really worry about here. The difficulty is getting the rotation in these cars. That's the thing. The TCR there, you can see going through the left-hander, it's very hard. Now, he can be on that inside a lot more to straight line this almost as such. But it was a little bit further out, Stephen Hutter. So it will have to try and work on closing that corner up, because you can, on the left-hander, Fruworth is literally be over the curb. But the off tracks are really weird here. You can go wide like that and not get an off track, but if you do that here, you're going to get an off track. So he's got to keep it to the right hand side of the curb. Same with turn 1 and turn 2. It's very difficult to not get an off track. He's got to be quite far out on turn 1, so we can open this up. This is not an off track. He can go in through here, but he's got to keep it to the left of the sausage curb. There you go. That's also not an off track. But at certain points, you sneeze at a curb at the Red Bull Ring and you get an off track. So it's wonderful.
It's 17 incident points before they get a drive-through, by the way, in the sessions. So that's what they'll be watching out for. And it is possible to get up to 17 around this circuit, as you say. The white line doesn't always mean the edges of the racetrack as far as the off-tracks are concerned, which is a little bit hard to get your head around, and certainly going to be hard for us to see who has gone off circuit and who hasn't. But never mind. That is apart from the point, really. We'll do our best anyway. Let's see what these first qualifying times are going to be then. The Porsche Cup cars will be passed first, and Hayden Miller looks like he's going to be first over the line, actually. The race winner from 1 week ago at Silverstone, looking to set the pace here in this session as well. He's taken an early championship lead with that opening race victory. Still, though, 5 more rounds to go here from the Red Bull Ring, then at Mugello coming up after that as well. So make sure you tune in for those. Through the final corner, and Hayden Miller going to set the pace for everybody else because he's first over the line. What is the opening lap time going to be here in this Porsche Cup car? It's a 32.5. Immediately eclipsed, though, by both Ryan Walker and also, oh, not Ryan Walker, excuse me, but by Jamie Nuttall, who's gotten up to first place. In fact, on my timing screen, it says that Miller's ahead of Walker, but that's not true. It is Ryan Walker who's in second place, and Jamie Nuttall, who has set the pace early on.
Yeah, we've got times coming in thick and fast at the moment. Kieran Sharp has just set a time in the TCR, has gone on to pole position. Bobby Moss, saying that, has just come back and straight got him with Josh Millington right in behind. So it's going to vary, to be honest with you, Ewan. I don't think we can sit here and say, right, until we get into sort of break that 5-minute mark, then we might see the definitive who's going to be where. But we've still got, well, half the grid that haven't even set times as of yet. And Stephen Hood, though, is still one of them. No time on the board, and he's on his second lap. So needs to make sure he can get something this time.
Yeah. You need to be very careful not to get yourself right towards the back. Otherwise, you'll be having a lot of work to do throughout the race. That is for sure. Bobby Moss currently with the best time by only 700ths of a second, as you can see. Now then, what the second time's going to be. This is looking decent for Hayden Miller here. Purple in the middle sector. And he's going to be going all right through the final one, you'd imagine, from these lines as well. It's only a couple of corners through here, so he's going well. Now over the line, it looks like Miller is going to improve. Yeah, he will. It's going to be 31s for Hayden Miller. He's going to move up from third place, and he's going to be on the pole. But who's going to respond in behind? Chandler's going to go over the line and get up there. Yep, fourth place. That's a pretty personal best there. What about Sharp? He's going over the line now in one of the TCRs. So TCR qualifying, going to get another round of times here as Kieran Sharp has gone purple in the middle sector. That's a very good time from him. That should be enough. It certainly is. It's our first 1 minute 40 for the TCRs.
Yeah, they've got a lot to, everybody in the TCR's got a lot more to do. Stephen Hood did get a lap time on the board. Still nothing for Mav Gardner, Louis Heskev, Matt Acton, Grant Miller, Gareth Ronda. Tom Davidson has not even got a time either, so he's going to have to try and get on something on this lap. Good evening, Mr. Harry England. Good evening, JP. Good evening, mate. Oh, Billy Bob is in YouTube chat as well. Good luck to Hayden Miller and also Nick Clibbons. So good luck to them, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells if you're on TSRC or JBB YouTube channel. That would be absolutely amazing. But for Tom Davidson, it's not an amazing evening. Sporting a new livery here this evening as well.
So it was helpful for us not to recognise him. So hopefully we pick that up pretty quickly. But yeah, so far down at the back alongside Mav Gardner and Gareth Ronda, who are both out there on the circuit and not having set times yet. Although, to be fair to Mav Gardner, he hasn't set a time, he hasn't crossed the line yet at all. So that's a bit unfair on him. He's going to be doing so pretty shortly. Jamie Nuttall goes over with the personal best. There's a 31 from him, the second 31 of the session, and it comes for Jamie Nuttall, who's up to second place. What about those a bit further behind? Can they get anywhere near the time of Miller? Doesn't look like it. Durica over the line. He's now third place. Sansini Daba in seventh place currently. Does he improve any further? Doesn't look like it. So, no, he doesn't. He stays in seventh place. What about Sharp? This could be even further out front, and it looks like it is for Kieran Sharp, if it's counted. Nope, doesn't look like it counted. So he will have to hope that those behind him don't beat him now. As Josh Millington goes over line with 3 personal bests, he doesn't get ahead of Sharp.
Oh.
Davidson does move up, though. There he is, up to second place.
Yeah, he got a time on the board, put himself straight in second. Awesome job by him. Paul Smith is out on the racetrack with Grant Miller also there. Oh, he's pulled over, so that's not going to happen. Grant Miller needs to come over the line and get a time on the board. Is it going to be any better than a 1:42? No, I don't believe it is. And yeah, there's still people there. Gareth Ronda still not got a time yet.
No, this is, I think, his third attempt now, Gareth Ronda, and he's got it right, but you can tell he probably just pegged himself back a little bit there because that was his third lap and he just wanted to get one on the board. Unfortunately for him, he's still last anyway. So 15th place for him, unfortunately, there. Over the line for Hesketh. Louis Hesketh goes up to 6th place in the Porsche Cup class. So that's a decent qualifying from him. But it looks like we've got our two pole sitters. Hayden Miller and Kieran Sharp look like they've taken pole position. So that's the race winner from last week in the Cup class and the second place driver from last week in the TCR class, who have managed to get pole positions each.
Yeah, great job from them. Great job from them to sit there and get pole position. You definitely are going to, in an ideal world, you'll need it here. I think if you can get out front at the Red Bull Ring, you're okay. It's when you get stuck down in that middle pack that it seems to be, oh, that was a little bit wide. I'm not quite sure if that will register that lap, or will it be an off track for Dallaire? Yeah, I think it might have been. So I think being out in front is probably in the best place to be.
Yeah, it often is. Not many places where it isn't, and that's true here as well. Louis Hesketh has still got a lap, by the way, in the Cup class. He's the only driver who hasn't completed his laps yet, and he's got just under a minute to get to the line. He will manage it, but whether this is going to count or not is another question, because that was a lot of dust in the background that suggests he may well have just kicked up some gravel throughout that middle sector. Now then, through the final couple of corners. He's not practicing pit entry, so he is going to carry on, and clearly it's worth carrying on for, because this is his last lap. He's not going to have a chance for another one. There'd be no reason to carry on if this wasn't an improvement, but it doesn't look like it is. But well, maybe. It's going to be quite close, actually. Over the line. No, it didn't count after all that. So Hesketh does not improve anyway. That off-track clearly did register. That is Thomas Martin, stopped on the straight. He's qualified 11th. He is just getting ready for the end of the session. But yeah, that is it for qualifying. It looks like Miller and Sharp have gotten pole.
Great job from both of them. Pole position here in a multi-class. The good thing for Kieran Sharp is obviously by the time if they start getting the P-Cups come through. Now, we did talk briefly last week about, if I remember correctly, now don't get me wrong, both of us have slept since then, that the Red Bull Ring might be quite difficult for them to catch up on. I think they should just be able to do it, I believe.
I think they'll manage it, yeah, at least once. Actually, I think this is going to be one of the circuits, because it's so short in distance, I think this could be one of the ones that actually is, they lap them more than once, so we'll see on that. But this is the starting grid as they get lined up on the front straight. They're about to set off for a full formation lap. Hayden Miller has taken pole position here for round 2 of the TSRC Tin Top Series with Jamie Nuttall alongside. Rafael Durica is in 3rd place. Good qualifying from him, the driver who finished down in 9th place in the opening round at Silverstone. Ryan Walker alongside with William Chandler and Louis Hesketh on row 3. Then it's Gergely Kansaba and Samuel Kremers on row 4 ahead of Anthony Dabant, the first of the drivers over a second off the pole, and Matt Acton rounding out the top 10. Daniel Roberts is 11th ahead of Clement Biblock, who in the first race managed to finish in 8th position at Silverstone. Then it's Kieran Sharp who's taken the pole position in the TCRs ahead of Tom Davidson, a TSRC 1, 2, 3 with Josh Millington in 3rd place. Then Pierre-Antoine Dallaire in the Honda. It is Bobby Moss and Paul Smith on row 3 of the TCRs ahead of Martin Schwab and Bart Raven. It is Johnny Vu and Matt Smith rounding out the top 10 with Thomas Martin 11th ahead of Matt Gardner. Stefan Hutter and Grant Miller are on row 7 ahead of Gareth Ronda, who is on the back row by himself in 15th place. That's 27th overall, so nearly 30 in the field. That's a good sized field to have. A nice split between the two classes as well, but plenty of overtaking for the Cup cars to do, which, as I say, I think they're going to be doing at least once here, probably twice, if you want to believe my maths or not. You're welcome not to, but I think twice probably they'll lap them this time. At Silverstone, they managed to do everybody once, and some of those back markers twice, but it was a longer circuit, Silverstone, of course.
So you reckon they're going to get them at least twice?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, there was nearly 10 seconds between them in qualifying, and it's only a minute and a half lap, so put that about 9 to 10 laps, and they'll lap everybody. So and a minute and a half, they should be doing roughly 25, 30 laps. So I think they'll get them twice, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I'll go with your maths, mate. You've got a younger brain than I have, trust me. Mine can't work it out, so you carry on, and we'll see how they get on. But, yeah, should be interested, I think. Hopefully, they've got to be clean. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, let's hope for that. I mean, I think when it comes to lapping people, it comes a little bit more down to the distance of the circuit, I think, rather than the actual lap times, because that's effectively the distance you've got to catch up. Next time at Mugello, pretty similar, although none of the circuits to come are as short as this one, by the way. Daytona, the north side, certainly won't be seeing lapping there, and Interlagos, which is the only one that's comparable to this circuit, really, in terms of length. So, yeah, it's a series where you're not going to be lapping load, but it's still a multi-class series, and as we learnt last week, it's a big part of the series as well.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it makes it what it is. And I think these are good car choices. I think that's the thing. You see like GT4 and LMP3s and, you know, other multi-class that people have put together, normally GTPs, LMP2s and GT3s. So to have something like this is quite unique, but it kind of works.
Yeah, I think so. It's not unheard of for these two classes to be on the circuit at the same time by any means, but they're normally on circuit with some others, other classes as well, in bigger multi-class leagues where, you know, endurance races are the norm. This time round, it's very much sprint racing. This is the 40-minute race iteration. There is a sprint round to come at Mugello, don't forget, a little bit later on in the season, so that will be a little bit different. But it's time to go racing for 40 minutes all over again, as the opening round of Silverstone is put into the rearview mirror, and the second round at the Red Bull Ring is set to take centre stage. It's going to be Hayden Miller, who will take the green flag and look to back up his victory 1 week ago with another one here. Green flag waves at the Red Bull Ring, and we are underway. Miller level with Nuttall on the way towards turn one. The blue car, Miller on the inside line. He's going to go well, and that's a spin in the midfield there for Louis Hesketh, and everybody has to scatter to avoid him. He'll drop to the back of the field.
Yeah, TCRs are up and running underway now. It looks like everybody learned from last week. Kieran Sharp making a bolt right at the beginning with Millington in behind, Paul Smith, Tom Davidson and Bobby Moss going side by side. Davidson is almost, nope, just nearly, and then there's a run in behind him as well. And it looks like people are all getting involved here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in and around, not very far apart at all. But great start from Kieran Sharp in the TCRs out in front. Hayden Miller doing a great job in the pickups. Okay, I do wonder whether or not we've lost Mr. O'Leary.
Apologies, I had my mic on mute. That's extremely amateur of me, but that's what I managed. So well done me. I was saying, Daniel Roberts has got off the road at turn 4, and now he's at the bottom of the timing sheets, just in behind Louis Hesketh. This is what happened to him. Oh wow, he's skating down the inside, and he was never stopping there.
No, definitely not way too much, and Mav Gardner did it. This was literally at the same time as the Porsche at the P-Cup was going off. So Mav also caused himself a little bit of dramatics here at the same time, or did it just show up that he was off the side of the circuit? I think it might have been just he was off the side of the circuit, but Anthony Daman and Clement Bibelhoek and William Chandler all in the mix and having a good fight further down in the P-Cup. So yeah, great action all the way through, as there was last week.
Yeah, there certainly was. In towards turn 3. Oh, big lockup. Big lockup there, up ahead, and a bit of contact. Acton and Gonzabo both going off the road. It was a big lockup here. I think from Gergely Gonzabo. It was indeed just in behind. He was looking down the inside. He was never going to get it stopped. Lock up, straight into the side of his fellow Porsche, and they've both gone around. He's having to take a very long way around there to spin himself back the right way again, and that's very unfortunate indeed. Side by side for third, meanwhile, Rafael Durica wants to take back the position again, but he's on the outside line, and he is going to have a long way round there, so he's tucked back into line again.
Yeah, settles back in behind Ryan Walker, and Durica now is just going to have to set after him and see what he's able to do. There's not many places really, if you can't get runs out, you're going to have a good time of trying to overtake. This is not, it's not a great overtaking circuit. You can do it on the longer straight runs, but you've got to be right up behind them.
Yeah, it certainly is possible around here, but as we've seen already, it can go very wrong. Daniel Roberts and Gurley Consabo both getting the braking wrong already, but that might be down more to the Porsche Cup car, to be fair, rather than the circuit itself. Looking up the inside there, down the straight was Louis Hesketh on Nancy. Daban, oh, and that was a very good run. Hesketh is going to be straight through. There's Consabo through on Roberts. What about Hesketh? Through on Anthony Daban into 7th place. Further up in front, Derek has got past Walker. That had been coming. We were watching that a little bit earlier on. That looked like it was going to happen anyway. This one up into turn 3 is Louis Hesketh back up to 7th. So he's gained 5 places since his spin.
Yeah, he's done a great job so far as Hesketh down in the TCRs. We've got Dallaire is alongside Martin Schwab at the moment. There's also movements further up from Johnny Woo, Bobby Moss and Mav Gardner, but Dallaire does go through there without any problems on Schwab. Mav Gardner sitting here as well, and he's trying to hold back Bobby Moss. Moss on the outside coming into the left-hander. He will be on the outside on the entry. Is he going to be able to run it around the outside? Very, very difficult to do here at a very, very tricky uphill exit corner. And there you go, he didn't make it through.
Well, that's a very good run for Moss here. He's going to be doing the switchback move and possibly having a look down the inside on the way down here towards turn 4. It's a long run for these TCRs because they're not very fast in a straight line. So it's a very long run. Now Moss is going to have to do it on the brakes. He's not that far alongside. And there you go. Gardner round the outside, cleans him up, and he contains and controls that 5th position. What a fantastic drive so far from Gardner. 7 places gained.
Yeah, absolute flying off the line did Mav. He is absolutely moving through the field. The problem is he's now hit a group here with the likes of Moss, Wu, Dallaire, Schwab, who he's got to drag with him if he's going to start moving forward to Smith, because they're all going to keep coming. The problem is they're going to keep fighting, and when they keep fighting, they'll keep losing time.
Yeah, here we go. Side by side again. Down the inside. Again comes Moss. Oh, that's close. Oh, hold your breath through there. Penultimate corner. And they just about get away with it. Round the outside, Gardner's going to go off the circuit, but he does his best to stay on, and fair play to him. Here we go again on the straight. Wu and Antoine Dallaire, by the way. Pierre-Antoine Dallaire is in the background going side by side as well. It's all going on down here towards turn 1, 4th, 5th place. Gardner versus Moss. Through the corner. Again, good respect shown between the two of them. Side by side in the 2nd row as well, which means that everybody's going to catch up. That's Schwab in the Honda there, in the white and black Honda. Just trying to look for anywhere to go, but he still can't find anywhere. Gardner now finally might end up losing this place because Moss is on the inside all over again. And that surely means he'll lose the place, but he's still not giving up. Gardner on the outside line, and this has been going on for a lap now.
Yeah, side by side. The problem is that turn and that corner is very tough to get the speed down on the inside. But Moss on the left, you can see with Gardner on the right, still going at each other. They've gone back single file behind. Are they going to be able to make it now into turn 3? Through they go. They're still going to be side by side. Dallaire's had an absolute barnstorming run. He's gone on trying to make it 3 wide. Gardner's managed to get away, and at the moment Dallaire is alongside. Is he going to be able to keep it there currently with Bobby Moss? He is, and they're going to go at it for the next half of the lap.
or lap and a half, maybe 2. We'll see how long this goes on for. This is remarkable stuff between these guys. As they kick up a load of dust, you can tell just how hard they're fighting. This is exactly the kind of thing you come to TCR to watch. This is the kind of racing it can produce. The slower speeds, you've got more control over where you are in relation to your opponents, less likely to bang into them, less likely to end in a big crash, and more time spent on the straights means more slipstream, and everybody stays a lot closer together.
Yeah, the slower classes, we talk about it, always bring the best racing. Dallaire's going into turn 1. Uphill, he's going to be late. Suck it in, son. Oh, he was well late. And now, guess what? Just to top it all off, we're back 2v2.
It's remarkable again. Now, where does Schwab go? Oh, side-to-side contact there between Moss and Pierre-Antoine Dallaire, who's going to be looking up the inside in the red and white. You can see on the very inside line at the moment. There they go again, side to side. Gardner's just sort of watching in his rearview mirror, thinking that was me a minute ago, and now I'm finally single file again. He's given the slipstream to Moss, who dragged himself ahead, and so he gets to 6th. Meanwhile, Ronda, Miller and Hutter are going 3 wide down the straight. They were. Now they've sorted themselves out. They could do without this, to be honest. They're losing the rest of the group. They're losing time compared to the rest of the group here.
Yeah, Martin and Raven are also there, but unfortunately they're just losing that slight little bit of contact. But Moss and is cleared Gardner now. I don't know how that happened. Unless Gardner ran wide, we'll have a look back at that one. He must have run wide because he was ahead of the pack for Bobby Moss.
I guess he was trying to make an overtake, and that was pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, I
just wonder whether Gardner let him have that one. It's very strange. Yeah, just not a great exit. Seemed to just let him have it.
Yeah, I think he might have got it a little bit wrong coming out of turn 3. And unfortunately for Mav, he's had to settle back in and allow him. It looked like he almost allowed him through, which was quite bizarre. Hayden Miller is still up front in the P Cup at the moment. Harry's eating all of his popcorn. He's going to have to go and make some more, unfortunately, for poor Harry. He's got none left, bless him. But the P Cup still going at it with Jamie Nuttall, Hayden Miller and Rafael Dorica with, of course, Mr. Ryan Walker tucked in behind.
He is lurking there as well. New personal best from Durica there as he makes his way over the line, and more pressure heaped on Miller. This is going to be a lively first run through traffic, by the way, if those guys further up front stay like that. We're not even 10 minutes in here and they can already see them up the road. That's going to mean about the short nature of this circuit means that there's more opportunity for lap traffic, and I think the entire field is going to be lapped twice, but we'll see on that. It's going to be quite close. Out of turn 3 they come, and so far Miller has been under a lot of pressure. He's not had any moves thrown on him though by Jamie Nuttall, who has very much just been sat there sort of watching rather than overtaking.
Yeah, it's almost like in kind of fuel conservation mode, you know, and he's just sort of sitting there saving fuel. You know, it's very, very weird. They can, obviously, they have got, they're going to have to pit. But maybe he's just sitting there trying to go a little bit longer.
Look at this, they're already here. TCR traffic's already there. That's how slow they are in a straight line. These Porsche Cup cars absolutely trample on them in a straight line. And through the corners, they're probably a lot quicker as well, although the momentum does stay with these TCRs. Here we go. Here we go into the traffic. Miller, Nuttall, Durica and Walker all into the traffic at the same time here. Moving to the right-hand side, initially on the front straight to get through the first lap TCR. Now into the second, and Nuttall is going to try and follow Miller on the inside line. Is he going to commit to it? He's going to have to. The TCR lets him have some space though, and now they're going to try and get them all here on the straight.
They kind of have to. But for Nuttall, he kind of has to as well to stay with him or find a gap that they're both going to end up in. But at the moment, Nuttall's got to go. The problem is he can't. Is the TCR going to come? There you go. There's the first block almost. Nuttall can't go, and Miller's now going to try and escape off down the road. But Nuttall is in a really, really, really bad position. He's got to try and go through at the same time as Miller. And at the moment, he's not going to get there.
No, and that's exactly what happens when there's one car put between you. It can suddenly become a very big gap, and off in front of them there. That's Dallaire. That's Dallaire, and Miller didn't know where to go there. He didn't quite know whether Dallaire was going to stay on the left-hand side or move back to the racing line again. Oh, look at this, through the corner as well. The TCRs are just as good as the Porsche Cup cars initially, and there's the flash of the lights as well. The TCRs won't be very pleased. Here comes Nuttall trying to take some of that advantage away, and Durica's right in behind him as well, by the way, here. Durica really gained, although he's lost all of that in one go. He's now over half a second behind. Walker didn't really gain either, so it's actually spread apart, the top 4 in the Porsche Cup class.
Yeah, that was a scary run through, and it's not done for the likes of Louis Heskev and Samuel Cremans either, unfortunately. They've got to now make their way through. It is a very, very scary prospect because you never quite know where people are going to be. You're never quite sure what way round they're going to go and who's going to go where. You can see they're being spread out across the circuit. The P-Cup's coming straight through the middle. Great job from these two, but very, very tough indeed. This is... Whoa! Heskev's gone round on the sausage curb on the exit there, Ewan, and through he goes.
That is not ideal at all, I'm afraid. And another problem for Louis Hesketh in this race. Matt Acton goes through. He's had problems of his own. Up to 7th place, though, as a result of that spin. And the most annoying thing is that he has to do quite a lot of what he just did again, which is pretty annoying. So we will see. Through goes Miller on all of the traffic now, apart from the top 3. I think that's Paul Smith in 4th place, who they're just overtaking here. Smith not able to quite stay with, it is indeed, not quite able to stay with the front 3, who, by the way, we haven't seen so far in this race, but they are, that's because they're not really doing anything. Sharp, Millington and Davidson are trying to just put time into everybody else. Yeah,
the problem is it's 3 TSRC boys, so they're not really going to do a lot, are they? There's one, Kieran Sharp, there's Josh in behind, and there's Tom in behind that. So all 3 of them just seem to be trying to escape. Now, the interesting part is, where are these guys, these 4, going to catch them 3? But them, if it's not out of 1 up until 2, 2 to 3 has got to be an overtake if they can there, because that infield is going to make it even more difficult.
Yeah. So they make their way now down towards turn 3. Aidan Miller could be in trouble. He's not going to be able to get these 3, and that's exactly what Jamie Nutter was hoping for, as was Duricat and Walker. They're going to catch up a little bit here. The gap will dip below a second, I think. No, not quite, but it just gets close again. Now Nutter's got to get these 3 on this straight so that he can stay in touch with Miller, but the race winner from 1 week ago is controlling this race pretty expertly as well.
Yeah, he's done a great job so far. Nuttall's tucked in. He can't clear the traffic as quick. Dorica is more trying to make the most of this situation, because you can see Miller's now opened up that gap, and that first run through traffic makes him 1 second out in front, or 1.1 at the moment. So a great job from Hayden Miller. He really managed that traffic well, put the gaps in behind Nuttall and Dorica, and now these guys are going to fight it out. For Miller, he wants them to fight so he can keep it escaping.
Certainly does. But Durica wants to fight with Nutter because I think he believes he's quicker, and I think he's probably right. He got up to the back of Walker and dispatched of him pretty quickly, and he's done the same now to Nutter. He's just got to do the overtaking part, and now that they're no longer in traffic, he might just be able to do that a little bit more easily here. But let's wait and see. Over the line, 32, low 32s from all of the top 3 that time round. This podium actually in both classes maybe is starting to just be set.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing, that it looks like the top 3 in TCRs, because they've got an 8-second gap over Paul Smith. The top 3 in P Cup, because they've dropped off Ryan Walker. Cremens and Biblock are side by side at the moment here, and this is the fight for 5th and 6th.
Side by side. Kremers will look for the exit. He was very tight there to Biblock on the exit. Good that he was able to get the power down though, and he's going to be able to get right alongside here down the straight. This is a good chance now for Samuel Kremers down in towards turn 4. He's on the inside line. Biblock breaks very late in the 777. Oh, that's a very good defence of his top 5 position, but he's just slightly overdone it. It was a good defence, as I say, but I'm afraid he's just slightly overdone it. Into the gravel he goes, and now he's going to be in big trouble. He's on the inside, though. He'll break late for turn 5, and that's pretty good defence there from Biblock. He's got his top 5 back again. I thought when he dipped his wheels into the gravel that was over.
Yeah, but he's made a great recovery, hasn't he? And he's got keeping in front of Cremens. And this is the thing, I think if you keep your cool when you make a mistake, you can make a good recovery, especially if you're quick. You know, for the likes of Louis Hesketh at the moment, he's made a mistake, he made a good recovery, then he made another mistake. He's kind of almost like a yo-yo at the moment. He's going up and down and up and down, and he just needs to keep that little bit more composure, stay off the curbs. Definitely not going to help. But this battle here is vital now because of the fact that Biblock and also Cremens are coming into the top 3 of the TCRs. They're not going to want to interrupt their battle. I say that battle loosely because they've not really done a lot. But you can see now how they've got to kind of weave in and out, in and out. Sharp's now got to be careful because is Biblock going to go for a dive? He's not. And now it's opportunity if really Cremens gets an exit here to block Biblock in behind that TCR. But Kieran Sharp moves out the way.
Here we go. So it looks like it's still a decent exit for Cremers. Has he got enough space to go for it again at turn 4 here? Oh, it's a block there from Biblock. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he was within his rights to do so as well. but that was aggressive from the Frenchman, who keeps Kremis behind him again. It's like watching a replay almost. Kremis is on the outside, heading towards this left-hander again, and he's not going to get through again. That was very similar to last lap, as Louis Hesketh and Matt Acton, meanwhile, go side by side for 7th place. I believe, Acton was holding on. He's not anymore. Louis Hesketh, in this yo-yo race that he's having, is now back to 7th again.
Yeah, let's hope he just doesn't make a mistake and go back. Unfortunately, that'd be the worst thing for Louis on that one, because he doesn't want to make all the good moves again to have one bad move and end up going down the order. It's a real shame. Oh, there's a pit stop from Millington. So Millington decided to get out the way, which is fine because there's no fuel cap on refueling, so they would be surprised if they can. They'll fuel to the end now, and he's only got 20 minutes to be blatantly honest. But I think at the moment, Hesketh's got to keep his cool to go and catch up. He's definitely got pace on him, but he did come out of that corner rather sideways. Kremen and Big Rock have got to now make a decision. Do we fight or do we move forward? What's the fuel situation going to be? Are we going to start saving? Same for Dorica further up. Now, they had dropped Walker, but Walker's come back into this. This gap was about 1.3, so Dorica has unfortunately lost time, and you can see that visually because now Nuttall is closing back into Miller.
Yeah. This is starting to become a front 2 rather than a front 3 all over again. Dorica just losing a bit of time. Miller and Nuttall are getting away, but they're not that far away from TCR traffic again. Look at this with 20 minutes to go. I reckon when they get to the back end of the TCRs, they'll just pit, to be honest. I think they won't bother trying to come through them on a second time here. Initially, they'll pit in and try to avoid. I think that's what Millington effectively was trying to do there, by saying, you know, this is the bulk of the Cup cars. Don't want them to overtake me on the racetrack, really. I'd rather pit in and deal with it that way. Millington, 11 seconds in the box. He's back out again. He's only dropped to 8th. That's how far the front 3 were ahead of the rest, by the way. He's only down to 8th, so he's back in the traffic again, but he has avoided being lapped by most of the Porsche Cup field. Yeah,
he has, and he's done a great job there coming back out. He's come out and he's got a little bit of clean space in and around it. Martin Schwab's a little bit further up the road by 1.5. He's got Johnny Wu behind him by about 2.8, maybe give or take 3 seconds. So he's in a good pocket here. He hasn't got much traffic in and around. That's 12th place of the P-Cups at the moment. That's William Chandler. He's recovering after being off a little bit earlier on. So he's got good now to go and make time, because by the time he starts catching people up, they should start going into the pits, as Martin Schwab has, Mav Gardner has, and Bobby Moss has.
Yeah, and Wu is as well. So we are already starting to see pit stops here from these TCRs, although I don't think they probably should have done that for these guys. They should have done that a bit earlier when the Porsche Cup cars were about to come past them for a first time, or maybe wait a bit for when it was going to be second time. You want to be in clean air as much as you can, really. You don't want to be involved in lap traffic. As entertaining and as fun as it is, it's not very quick to be passing slower traffic or being passed by faster traffic. So you want to avoid it as much as you can. Miller versus Nuttall is getting very close through the final couple of corners. Look at that, 0.3 of a second. Jamie Nuttall's found a second wind here in the second half of the race, and it's this just perfectly timed resurgence from number 14 to try and take this race win away from Miller.
Yeah, Miller's either had a bit of a lax time over the last few laps here, and you can see now there's the gaps. Nuttall has been over the last 3. Let's see if we can bring you up the last 5, and we'll see what we can get. So there you go. Miller lost half a second on lap 11, and he's lost another three attempts now, and they're going side by side. This is Nuttall's opportunity. Is he going to be able to make it through? He is, and Miller's going to have a go on the exit, but he's got to try and run him side by side down into turn 3. The question is can he hold that inside line, or is Nuttall going to sweep round the outside?
This is going to be good defending here from Miller, I think. No, he breaks early. I thought he was going to fight that, but he didn't in the end. Jamie Nuttall goes through, and he goes off straight away down there at turn 4. Straight away as he got through, he went off down at the fourth right-hander of this circuit, and he's just about hung on afterwards, but that was very close there to complete disaster for him. Hayden Miller into second position then, on board with him. And this is an interesting position now for him to be in as they get past a lap TCR on the way down towards the final couple of corners. An interesting time as well for Jamie Nuttall to take the lead, because Hayden Miller's coming in.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, he shouldn't In an ideal world for Miller, he really did not want to lose that lead right before the pit stops. He wanted to be able to dictate where and when he was going to give Nuttall something to think about. Now Miller's stuck to his guns. He's gone in early, and that gave Nuttall then the choice to go, I'm just going to keep going because I'm in front anyway. But Miller's hopefully should have planned this to the precise moment, because he's got a nice big gap after 5th and 6th for the peak up. You can see there, Dabin in the green on the track map, there is a nice little gap behind it. If he can get out in front, which it looks like he might be able to do here. Oh, is he going to get? Yeah, I think he's going to get there. Dabin's not going to get out in front of him. Miller has come out in a really, really good spot.
Durica's lost quite a lot of time. Look at Daban. Daban there has got up into 3rd place. That's a very good run indeed from Anthony Daban. He's up 6 places, but he's not pitted yet, that's why. So that's a bit puzzling. Rafael Durica's lost a bit of time in this pit stop, as I say, 1.3 seconds longer than Ryan Walker in the box. That's why he's ended up behind him now in what will be the battle for 3rd.
Yep. We talked about this last week as well. Pit stops was a big thing last week at Silverstone, and it looks like it's done the same thing to Durica here. Nuttall has to get this stop right. He needs to bury this to even come out remotely alongside Miller. You can see he's got to race in. You've got to go and brake as late as you possibly can, get it stopped. Oh, there you go. Now he's got to go in and make sure he can bury this pit stop to come out close to Miller at the moment, because if he doesn't, Miller should be able to jump him and keep going.
Now then, will there be a difference? Look at this traffic for Miller that he wouldn't have had to contend with, actually, Nutto. So this is perhaps race defining with just under 15 minutes to go. Oh, off just in front of him. He's not going to lose quite as much time, Miller, but Nutto's already on his way. He's already on the pit exit. Now he's out of the lane itself. He releases the pit limiter. He's on a very tight line, though, through turn 1, so don't forget about that. Now he accelerates out of the opening corner. Where's Miller? He's a couple of car lengths behind, and it looks like Jamie Nutto's on his way. He looks like he's going to hold on to this race lead.
Yeah, he is, and he's done it by about 2.3 seconds, and that was a 2-second stop quicker. They were obviously in a lap apart, but Jamie Nuttall literally 12.17 in the pit box. Hayden Miller 14.13, 2 seconds slower, but it's whether or not Nuttall's now got enough to get to the end, or is he going to chug, splatter over the line, and Miller's going to come through. All to play for. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was close. Yeah. That was very close, but Nutto knew what he's doing. He stays ahead, and look at the gap he's got. He's got a couple of TCRs between he and Hayden Miller as well. This is a fantastic place to find yourself here if you're Jamie Nutto. Is he on his way to victory? His first of the season. It'll be his first. It's his first start of the season, by the way, according to the championship standings.
He's done it again.
At the opening round at Silverstone. There is a mistake in the background. Louis Hesketh is having quite an evening.
Yeah. Oh! That yo-yo night is continuing. That has now dropped him down to 10th for Hesketh.
I think that was Daban, by the way, coming out the pit lane, who squeezed past him in a free wide moment. So fair play. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if Hesketh catches up to those 3 ahead of him now and just passes them all again.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think he's got to. He's so up and down. It's like a roller coaster at Alton Towers at the moment for Hesketh. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down, and now Consabo was there having a go at Daman and Chandler in behind that. These 3 are going to be back together. This is probably the closest battle on the racetrack there. Gurgley Consabo, that middle machine, trying to make that inside work over Daban going into turn 1.
Yeah, this should be Gonzalo going through, as long as he doesn't get it too late on the brakes like he did when he was trying to pass, I think it was Matt Acton earlier on in the race. Through, though, to 7th position for Gurgley Gonzalo. That is a good return for him. Now then, Chandler versus Daban. Probably this is going to go the way of Chandler as well, as he looks to the inside line on the way in towards turn 3. Breaks a bit earlier this time. Oh, that's quite late from Daban. He's pulled it up in time, though. Well done. Daban didn't quite rear-end Gonzalo, but he got very close.
Yeah, he definitely got close enough. Probably closer than Gonzalo really wanted at the moment. He didn't want Daban that close, because it can end, and I saw it earlier on today, it can end when somebody just lightly touches you and just unsettled the rear, especially in these cars. You don't want to unsettle the rear here. We've got 12 minutes to go, and the last thing you want is just to make a silly little mistake like that with 12 minutes to go and ruin your race and whoever you might hit in the process.
Yep. You certainly don't. So we make our way now around the double left-hander and out onto the straight before the final double right-hander at the end of the circuit at turns 9 and 10. Just applying that pressure as much as he can here through the turns. It's difficult to do it through these high-speed corners. They've got a lot of traffic up ahead, but that's a very good run. He won't need to use it here, Chandler, by the looks of things. Don't often see moves at turn 1, and there you go. He doesn't want to make one. Just get straight into the back of Daban. Just says, get on with it here.
Yep. He's trying to keep, that's the thing, he's trying to keep Daban with Gonzalo. But the problem is he's either got to make that move to be able to keep him there, or he's got to go past him to keep him. He can't keep sitting in behind if Daban's going to keep losing corners. It's great that Chandler's trying to give him a bump, but how many times have we seen that this week? We've done at least 2 where people have tried to just bump the person in front to keep them going, and they haven't got past them or the other person they were trying to keep up with. So, yeah, keep it. Make a decision, Chandler. You've either got to go or you've got to just kind of settle in.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, those other occasions that we've seen most recently, exceptional circumstances, but it does make you think about these strategies of staying behind someone for, you know, late passes and whatever. It is a risky strategy. Sometimes you see it so well executed by these drivers that you think, well, it's just the right thing to do, but actually it's a very difficult thing to do. It's made to look very easy by some of these drivers. Here he is again, Chandler, on the way towards turn 9, and again, not going through. He seems so much quicker, actually, than Daban at the moment. I don't think he's going to be waiting for the very final minutes of this race, but he's certainly waiting around for a little bit of time, waiting for the right moment to strike.
Yeah, but he's got to just make sure that he's got to get him cleanly. There's a TCR up there. We know that. He should know that. He's not going to make the move here. He needs to bury 1 to get the run out of 2. That's going to hold Daban up a little bit. He can't quite go on the power. Now for Chandler, he's got to be able to get that foot down. Can he close him and clear him? You can see in front, Gonzalo didn't get a good run through 1 and is a little bit closer. But for Chandler here, I really do feel he's missing a trick at the moment.
See, it's always difficult as well when the driver ahead of you has got slipstream from someone ahead of them. That doesn't help either, but there's not a lot you can do about that. The battle for the lead, by the way, in TCR is one we haven't really seen in the recent past, but I'll just tell you what's happened there. Josh Millington lost quite a lot of time in the pit stop phase after pitting quite early, so he's pretty comfortably third. He's got a long way behind him and a pretty long way ahead of him as well, so it looks like he's going to come home third. But will it be Kieran Sharp or Tom Davidson? Sharp managed to steal a bit of a march over Davidson in the pit stop window. 1.5 seconds it was when they came out the pit lane. Now they're chasing each other around the circuit, basically. Davidson trying to chase down Sharp here as the traffic for the final time. The Cup cars are coming up to the back of them here to put them a second lap down, is it? Yep, it would be. And that will be perhaps defining for the TCR race. Look at that, 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, you've got Jamie Nuttall, Hayden Miller. I don't think Davidson's going to get 1.4. I think Sharp is, unless he makes an absolute outroaring blunder, I do feel Kieran Sharp might have a little bit of the pace here. I honestly do believe that. He's good in the TCRs, so it'll be interesting. I don't think he's going to make a mistake, personally. I think Sharp is going to lock up this this class, but the AI has got the pre-cups coming back through, and we've got Chandler and Daban literally side by side at the moment.
Now finally Chandler is going to go for it here. He's going to, squeeze, just move up to 8th place. That was a bit of a squeeze though. Daban bobbles himself on the outside curb, and through goes Chandler into 8th position. Maybe took a bit longer than he would have expected, or certainly would have hoped for, but he's made it now, and that won't help. A blinking TCR in front. Daban's not been put off by that. He's going for it. Oh, Chandler there was playing a very sort of risky game, treading a bit of a tightrope there between trying to defend from Daban but not move so far to the right that he breaks too late and slams straight into the TCR. Well, he's managed to strike that balance and he has held on to 8th place.
Yeah, he has, but it was a little bit of a scary moment there for Daban. And he's going to have to try and make some time back to China in front. He did lose a little bit of time. The gap's kind of extended out from about 2 to 4 tenths. Not massive, don't get me wrong, but in racing terms, it's huge. This is one of the closest battles on track. The other one would be Ryan Walker and Rafael Dorica. They're literally on top of each other.
They are. I've got to say, Durica's looked a little bit quicker during this race, but he's just not been able to find ways through at times here, as those are the two leaders in TCR, by the way. Sharp versus Davidson going to close in as a result of Nuttall and Miller coming through, and it might be the same for the rest of the Cup traffic as well, although there is a very big gap from Rafael Durica right the way back to Clement Biblock, who is in 5th place at the moment. Maybe it will only be these 4 who put the entire field 2 laps down on this occasion, because there are only 6 minutes to go.
Not long left for Durica. He's going to have to make a decision for Walker. And that gap between Daban and Chandler has opened up. It's now back out at a second. So this is the closest battle on the racetrack, these two here. And it'd be interesting to see how long the Altitude Esports of Ryan Walker can hold on for. And can he hold on enough to take another 3rd place?
Yes. It's,
do you think he will, do you?
It's going to be a... Sorry?
Do you think he will?
No, to be honest.
Oh, no faith.
Well, it's going to be... I mean, it's only 4 laps. I mean, anything can happen. We have just... that's official, by the way. It's 4 laps to go officially now. I mean, in that amount of time, literally anything could happen. Neither of these could finish in 3rd place, you know, if things go really wrong. So, you know, you just cannot call this at the moment. But I'm going to say, yeah, Durica's going to get through. You just need to get a move on with it, though. As I say earlier, it's not an easy place to make overtakes. It's not like Monza, where sometimes you get the positions for free. You have to work on it a little bit, so he's going to have to get a move on. Yeah,
he's going to have to, but where would you try? The problem is they've still got traffic in and around them. You know, if they catch up to the likes of 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13 in TCRs, that's going to cause a big issue. And for Durica, really, he wants to be in front of Walker before they hit that point. Now, will it be before the end of the race? Well, I think it's going to be quite close that it will be. But I think for Durica, he really wants to try and clear him to be first into that traffic.
Yeah. I think this is turn 4, is to what you were saying earlier, would be where I would be going for it. But yeah, it's still going to be pretty difficult. A bit of smoke up ahead of them as well, by the way. It's not only TCR traffic, but it's traffic of the same class as well here. As over the line, there goes Daniel Roberts. He's in 12th place at the moment, but he's beginning to put a lap down at the moment. And is he going to get out of the way? Yes, he just switches between the two of them. He gets out the way of this battle for 3rd place. So Durica's now got no interruptions. He's going to try and get the run on Walker, but he's going to have to work on this. There is still TCR traffic up ahead. The final driver they'll have to overtake in this race will be Thomas Martin, who is the last of the running TCRs. He's in 14th place, just up ahead of them here.
Yeah, for Daban now, it's all about, at some points, he's got to go in deep and try and carry speed. He's going to have to try and hang on by the seat of his pants at one point and just make sure that the car sticks, because otherwise he ain't going to get there. I honestly feel Walker's got enough here. I really do.
Okay. We'll see. I mean, he's defending well so far, but there's still, as I say, 2 laps to go when we get to the line. The gap between the 2 leaders is getting a bit closer as well here. Jamie Nuttall has seen his gap go down to just 1.5 seconds. Is he saving fuel? Is it just Hayden Miller going a bit quicker as things stand? The last time round, he gained 2 tenths of a second. He needs to get about half a second a lap, to be honest, if he wants any chance, though, with only 2 to go. Yeah,
he's going to have to try and close it up a lot more, is Miller, but to get it down in the first place is always good. I don't think Nuttall is saving. I say that in the loosest possible terms, because let's face it, anything can happen. Is he lifting early?
Didn't look like it to me.
No. I don't think he is.
That's the best lap of the race, though, by the way, for Hayden Miller. That's 4 tenths gain that time round as well, so he needs to do that again a couple of times and then he'll be just about lurking. But even then, he needs a bit more than that, to be honest. He needs more than 4 attempts.
Yeah, he's got to try and get more out of it. But the problem is how is he going to be able to do it? That's Nuttall and Miller. You can see Miller's closed in 4 attempts, a tenth and a bit. So he has pulled the gap down, but is it going to be coming down fast enough with 1 and 1 more? What's that, 8 attempts? It's not. He's still going to be short.
Looks like it. I think it's going to be a close one as far as the results sheet goes, but when we look at it on the racetrack, we know which order they're going to be in pretty decisively, I think. We'll see. Might be saying the same for Ryan Walker versus Rafael Durica. Is it going to be a second podium of the season for Ryan Walker? Or is it a second, third as well? Or is it going to be Durica getting onto the podium for the first time? To be fair to Rafael Durica, he finished in 9th place last week. This would be an even 4th, would be a big improvement.
Yeah, and the thing is, with these sorts of leagues, you've got such high competitiveness. So any improvement you make, even if it's just a pigeon step over the week, is an improvement. That's the thing. It is an improvement. I don't think he's going to get him here. I am a little bit worried for Nuttall because he has just nearly lost another 4 attempts. So unless he is severely managing his fuel and there's TCR traffic further up, I don't know if they're going to get there. I think it's going to be really close if they hit that TCR traffic.
It's going to be very, very close here. Down towards the braking zone for Miller. He's within a second. Here goes Durica as well. He's only 2 tenths behind. This might be his chance. Up at turn 3. He's on the outside line. Walker knows that this is his chance here. Durica's going to switch back to the inside, but he's not got a very good exit there, I'm afraid. Walker might be out the woods here. He's in the slipstream though. It's Rafael Durica. He could have another chance towards turn 4. Surely Walker isn't going to let him have the inside line. And in any case, he looks too far behind anyway. Down in towards the corner. He's still a corner or so behind. He needs to tug it back to the inside and get traction, but Walker's just got better traction through these corners.
They've caught traffic. They have caught it. And this is now, where is Miller? The gap's down to 8 tenths, and they've only got 2 corners to go. I've seen a dramatic moments like this before where somebody's all of a sudden just absolutely full sent it. I think he is going to clear this traffic in time. Miller needs to get that TCR out the way. Oh, he didn't. Can't do it. It's Nuttall's win.
It is. He just couldn't quite get there. Miller needed maybe another lap and he would have got there. But Jamie Nuttall holds on to win the second round of the TSRC Tin Top Series here at the Red Bull Ring in a fantastic finish between he and Hayden Miller, who qualified on the pole, and a great defence from Ryan Walker means that he finishes on the podium ahead of Rafael Durica. That was a good battle between the two of them. As we watch back for the TCR winner, Kieran Sharp weathered a bit of a storm from Tom Davidson in that second placed Honda, but Sharp has hung on and he's actually extended the margin at the end here as well. So Davidson beat Sharp 1 week ago. It's Sharp who beats Davidson this week. What a great championship we're set up for between these two.
Oh, and we've still got more rounds to go. This is just going to be absolutely amazing, and this is going to go down to the absolute wire. Davidson comes over in second. Millington is going to grab third. Seems to be a little bit off with his pit stop there, which caused him a little bit of a problem, and then finished, well, it was a long way back in the end for Josh Millington. But yeah, great action all the way through, and it's good to see these guys still continuing to fight, because if they're continuing to fight, the championship will continue to fight right the way down to the last round.
Exactly. That, by the way, is Kieran Sharp on the very last lap, picking up the fastest lap of the race for the second week in a row. So he will get the bonus point there as well, and he will be leading the championship by just 2 points. And by the way, Hayden Miller will be leading the championship in the Porsche Cup class as well. So he'll be very pleased with that. Should be about 10 points this lead after only 2 rounds. As the final battles make their way now down towards the line. Grant Miller, who just about stayed ahead of those guys to stay 2 laps down rather than 3. You will have seen him in the foreground of the shot there as Jamie Nuttall was taking his victory. It was getting very close indeed, but he just about hung on and he crosses the line now. Well, it is victory this time round for Jamie Nuttall in this race. 8/10. The gap between he and Hayden Miller at the end, with Ryan Walker hanging on from Rafael Durica. Clement Biblock rounds out the top 5 with Samuel Kremers 6th. William Chandler recovers back to 7th after dropping as low as 12th at one stage. Gergely Consabo was 8th ahead of Anthony Davan and Louis Heskiv, rounding out the top 10. Matt Acton and Daniel Roberts ended up a lap down. Kieran Sharp ended up winning in the TCRs ahead of Tom Davidson, with Josh Millington finishing in 3rd place to back up his 4th from 1 week ago. Bobby Moss and Paul Smith round at the top 5, with Mav Gardner in 6th position. 7th place went to Pierre-Antoine Delaire, with Bart Raven rounding out the top 20 overall. Then it's Mullen Schwab and Johnny Wu round out the top 10 in TCR. It was Grant Miller next, with Stephen Hutter, Matt Smith, Thomas Martin of those who finished. Gareth Ronda retired very, very late on, so we wouldn't have noticed, but he seemed to just pull into the pit lane with a few laps to go. Let's have a chat to Hayden Miller, who is already standing by, waiting for us. Welcome, Hayden. Good to have you with us again, and commiserations on that challenge there. 2nd place by just 8/10 of a second at the line. Did you believe at any stage during those final few laps you'd catch and pass Jamie, or were you resigned to 2nd place?
It's a tough decision. He's always been fast. But yeah, on the final laps when he came out the pits, 2 seconds ahead of me, I was really confused on how that happened. But yeah, he drove a great race. But as soon as I was catching him. If I had another 2 laps, I think I would have actually gotten him. But yeah, it is what it is. He drove a good race.
I think I said in commentary, even one more lap, I thought you would have him, actually. You were catching really at a rapid rate of knots. Just what were you doing at the end compared to the start of the race? Because he looked to have the measure of you in the first 20 minutes, and then you looked a lot quicker than him in the last 10. So what was going on there, do you think?
Good question. I don't know. I think it's just when the fuel comes lower, it's obviously a bit faster. I was catching him more, and then lap by lap, the more I catched him, the bigger slipstream I got. With the wind was facing down the straight at the top of the hill, so basically you'd get a big push down there, and then you'd get Jamie would get a big headwind, and it was, slipstream's really powerful, but yeah, it's I don't know what he was doing at the start. Apparently he was fuel saving at the start, and that caught me off guard. But yeah, it's difficult.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, his pit stop being 2 seconds shorter certainly seemed to be making a big difference in that race there for sure. And of course, you can still console yourself, by the way, with being the championship leader, because those near you, especially Louis Heskiv, finished down in 10th place tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Jamie. He drove a brilliant race. We were sat chatting along, and yeah. He always kept his cool. He's just a fast driver. Races safe, drives safe. Quite smart when he's trying to plan overtakes. But yeah, so shout out to him.
All right. Well, congratulations on 2nd tonight, Hayden, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Thank you. Great.
Thanks very much. Hayden Miller there in 2nd place. Doesn't look like we've got any of the others for a chat just yet. But yeah, good 2nd round of the season all over again. I mean, Hayden Miller is decisively the championship leader now in the Porsche Cup class, but it was an interesting battle between him and Jamie Nuttall there. They were yo-yoing a little bit, and Nuttall was very much just hanging on towards the end. Miller said 2 more laps and I would have got him. I think it might even be just the 1 more lap he needed there.
I reckon it might have been the one as well, to be blatantly honest with you. And I think he might have had a chance there because they were coming into more traffic as well. But we go into the first of the sprints at Mugello next week. Ooh, that's going to be an interesting one.
Certainly is, and we look forward to it as well. The only sprint round of the series as well, so make sure you tune in alert, because it's a bit different to the 40-minute race we've had here tonight. We'll be back, though, same time, same place, on the TSRC YouTube channel and the JP YouTube channel as well. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that, or indeed any of the racing that goes on between now and then. For now, though, from myself in Leary, James Parfitt alongside me, it's goodbye from the Red Bull Ring. We'll see you in 7 days' time at Mugello. Goodbye for now.